Oh my god.
There was a lady with a pram, there was someone with 4 suitcases, someone carrying a pizza.
So I couldn't do like honestly working at folklore, I'd just be like people watching out the window all day.
Oh yeah, I do door shifts there, and like
Yeah.
I see just about everybody that you can see.
Yeah.
Especially drunk ladies that don't see me until they're at the top of the stairs and then they hot shit themselves.
Like back the door.
You clap as well?
Ooh.
Yeah, you get to clap.
Let's do it.
Right.
3,
2,
1.
Sweet.
Nearly.
So, like, starting up in 2024, SideQuest Records?
Yeah.
Nice. So it's been over a year now, and you've worked
Just
with...
a little bit,
Yeah, you've got a number of gigs under your belt now.
Mm-hmm.
But what was the initial inspiration behind starting your own promotion side of the music industry?
So I worked professionally in events for about 2 years, 2.5 years. And I went to the first Homegrown, and I remember being handed the schedule with all the like stages and where everybody was playing.
Yeah.
And my first thought was, this has had to be so much fun to organise. So it was me and my friend like sat down and like circling where we were going to go and like where we were going to go have dinner and stuff like that. And yeah, I remember being like, the events that I run, which were in student unions, like they're not that different. Like I've run all day events before.
Yeah.
I didn't study music, I didn't study any of that. But I've used to organise gigs when I was in uni in Reading. I was in the Singer-Songwriter Society. I would be the one putting gigs together. It was nothing like too official. And I was like, okay, I know no one in the music scene because I'd just moved to Brighton pretty much. I'd been living there for 6 months and working around Morscombe. So it's like I'm not really in the centre of anything. I was going to some gigs, but I was not chatting to anybody. Yeah. And I was like, okay, it's the fastest way to get to meet people, which has proven true. And also it's something that I know I can do. Nice. So it's like a lot of times I'd go to gigs or something with like grassroots promoters and I'd think like, oh, maybe this could have been structured this way or maybe this could have been done this way. And I was like, okay, I'll take these on. I started shadowing people.
So you found yourself kind of like feeding off of the environment you're in the sense of attending loads of gigs and just taking it in slowly.
Yeah, and then fast because I left the job that I was doing full time and I had a month between jobs and during that month I was going to like 5 gigs a week. And it was during the summer, so there was a lot of stuff going on.
Do you find that to be quite a big challenge facing kind of local promoters is how saturated I suppose Brighton's music scene is? And getting that kind of perfect lineup?
I think like Brighton is really collaborative, which I didn't expect.
Yeah.
I was fully expecting like to have a very competitive outlets and stuff like that. Like everyone's kind of every man for themselves, and it's not like that at all with Brighton, which is so nice because you ask someone to shadow them. And they're much more than keen to let you. Yeah,
I did notice actually on your the Alt Escape last year you collaborated with Change the Fucking Records.
Well, yeah, that's the funny one. That was also me.
Nice.
So I promote now across Folklore Sessions and Change the Fucking Records. So because I was planning already the Alt Escape with Josh, who's the other person that does Change the Fucking Records. Because that's me subbing in from Ellis, from LSD, who was on tour with Fat Dog and still is. We don't think that's going to end. They were the first people I ever shadowed. So that was like my first ever experience in a gig, and they'd do very low-key gigs. Yeah. And yeah, I was talking to Josh and I was like, hey mate, like is it okay if I can slap the SideQuest name on there as well, please? And he was like, yeah, absolutely, no problem. I mean, it's you on both sides. Yeah. So, yeah, had an email chain with myself, with like all the bands. Like
Yeah.
anytime a band replied, I got 2 emails. So it's that kind of thing that,
Nice.
yeah, when you work across so many things, it was a kind of like a full circle of, I'd been doing SideQuest for less than a year, and I had a Saturday Alterscape with an incredible lineup
That's
that
a
got pulled from
milestone.
both sides. We had, and it was all organised in 48 hours through Instagram DM.
Yeah.
So Ellis was the like, we'd gone through a couple of options, and then I was like, Josh, should we try Ellis? I was like, yeah, let me text him. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'm down. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. So
you've kind of dabbled a little bit in the kind of world of festivals, I suppose. You know, in Brighton you've got Great Escape, you've got Mutations,
yeah.
Homegrown, as you say, you know, circling. I'm guessing it was Bowie's schedule that you might have seen, the big Excel spreadsheet.
That was for the Alterscape. Bowie's schedule for the Alterscape is always a
Spot on,
godsend.
isn't it? Right, yeah.
Like that one, I've always like, I knew about Bowie before I met her, because of the schedules.
Absolutely.
Because that Alterscape last year, when it was like people were boycotting the official escape,
Yeah,
I went to so many Alterscapes, and I was not working in music then,
Yeah.
but that schedule was a godsend.
There's
But
just no one more organised than Bowie. by
I
the looks of it.
swear, like, yeah, that God's work.
So with all of these things kind of compiling together, I suppose a big achievement for yourself is the SideQuest Fest that
Yeah.
you've recently hosted. So tell us a little bit about, because you've got a lot of artists that you've built here across different genres, not just from Brighton, but outside as well. So you've kind of compiled a list of a really nice, diverse mix of
Yeah,
people.
it's the thing of like, my style of music is not limited to one genre. I didn't want SideQuest to be limited to one genre. The main focus is always kind of indie rock, but also that's where we've got more offer from bands. Then there's like the acoustic end of things, that usually those are the folklore rooms ones.
Yeah.
And yeah, for SideQuest Fest, I had, because it was like on the day, like my first ever gig was 12th of September 2024. This was the 12th of September 2025.
Yeah.
And it was the like looking at how much I'd grown, because when I booked Rossi for my first ever gig, they gave me a Thursday and they were like, okay, like, let's see how this one goes, and then we'll think about giving you more dates.
Yeah.
And I sold that one out.
Nice.
Surprising everybody, including me, because there were some major people, like major promoters, putting on a show at the Hope and Ruin, like 2 buildings over, and they didn't sell out.
Yeah.
I was the only sold out gig on that day. And that kind of shown quite a few focuses on me. And then, you know, you go up and down, like obviously some gigs you lose money, some gigs you win some gigs you skirt.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the being able to book folklore rooms over text message, being able to contact all the bands through messages, a lot of them were returnings, and making a point of it being all women fronted
Yeah.
without putting that anywhere in the marketing. So it's like, if you knew that the bands were all women fronted, you'd know, like women or non-binary fronted, you would know, and you might be like, oh, that's fun. But it's like, I didn't want
You
that
didn't want to
to
make
be
it like a
like
core
a thing,
kind of thing,
because when it's festivals that are all fronted by men, no one says like, oh, that's an all-men festival.
Yeah.
Like, no one says that.
Yeah.
But
A bill of all female-fronted bands should be.
Oh, that's yeah. I have
the
like
norm.
bones to pick about that wording, because so many times I've gotten press simply for the fact that I've mentioned that all the singers are women, and they're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, we'll be there."
Yeah.
And I'm
it's
like, "Okay, that's
Why is-
not what I want to do, because
it's
I
not
don't
the
want to
selling
be the
point.
woman promoter. I don't want to be the female promoter. Like, don't
Yeah.
no, I'm just a promoter."
Absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, it was just kind of a reflection of how far I'd gone.
Yeah.
The fact that I've got like nearly like 1K followers on Instagram is not.
You've kind of embedded yourself in this really big ecosystem in
Yeah.
Brighton, where again you're not whittling yourself down to one genre, but you're dipping your fingers into, again, you know, jazz, folk, indie, rock, you name it, SideQuest will cover it, right?
Yeah.
Do you find that to be quite a challenge in booking shows? What's the biggest challenge that you face when looking at lineups?
I think I tend to look for, usually I tend to book the venue first because I'm anxious. And then I'll look to see if there's a headliner that I like, and then I build the lineup with the headliner. Or sometimes with the main support, or like someone that contacts me and I'm like, yeah, I want to have you in, like my next gig is this, can you make it? And then build it around with them if there's people that they've been wanting to play with. Because that excitement as well is what builds good marketing too, is what builds people saying, all the artists saying like, you need to come down because I'm playing with people that I wanted to play with for a long while. We had that happen with Cordelia Gardside, who headlined my December gig. And she said, oh, I've never played with Slag, and this was before Slag popped off.
Yes, yeah.
So Slag main supported.
Nice.
We had Ism opening. I love Ism with all my heart. That was, I think, one of my favourite lineups, and that's when we had the issue of like the media coming in for the all-female fronted bands.
Absolutely, yeah. So for bands, you know, you've had like Porchlight, Christian LaSurf, Arcadia Residential, Cows, and it's funny that you mentioned Slag as well because they've just come off of headlining day one of 234 Fest, which is one of the most highly anticipated dates in the Brighton gig calendar. I'm so proud
of them. I've worked with them a bunch, like across different promoters. They did the Homegrown in Bloom at the Folklore Rooms that I was handling. They opened that, and we had City Dog, Dirt Sharks, and Slag in that lineup. We still claim that we were the best Homegrown in Bloom at Folklore.
Absolutely.
I absolutely stand by that. We had Aidan from Dirt Sharks nearly swinging from one of the lights.
Nice.
I told him, I was like that, like during the whole time. I was like, it's gonna break. We've got no money. But yeah, no, Slag are absolutely lovely. Was their stagehand at the Platform B stage at Great Escape as well.
Nice.
And yeah, so nice to see familiar faces. Like I just looking at the lineup and seeing like, oh, I know half of the lineup. This is going to be sweet. Like we're all safe.
Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? You know, booking artists when they're at the very, very early stages of their career, when you notice them, you think, you know what, there's a lot of potential here, let's bring them on board. Is there anyone at the moment that you've got your eyes on getting on a show, or anyone that you really think are going to fly in the next kind of few months in Brighton?
Well, that's the funny thing, is that I'm also a booking agent, so that's kind of my job now. It's like talent scouting. With Slag, it was really like the minute I heard them play, I was like, they're going to pop off. Like, they are so good. They've got that presence. I think, I mean, for Slag, I was their first ever interview.
Nice.
Because when I interview all the acts, I was their first ever interview. And now I'm like, fly free. Like, absolutely, yeah. But I think there's a couple contestants of who's going to kind of take over Brighton. I've got my eyes set on Frances Mystery a lot. Nice. She has headlined for me before and then played at SideQuest Fest. I think is this kind of like accessible music, but also true to yourself. I think that's the music that does the best. So a lot of the music that you book, you feel resonates with your I never book bands that I'm not very passionate about. Yeah. Because the best advice I've ever gotten from Josh at Stone and Starving is never book a band that you're not willing to lose money over. Mm-hmm. And so you always learn that the hard way. a big element to booking shows. Yeah, because it's like, if the show loses money but you had a great time, then you feel way less bad than if you're like, this band was not that great and I lost money. Yeah. It's like, you just feel really shit. And you always have to learn that the hard way. Like, and that's happened to me. I'm obviously not going to name names with that. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, you just kind of learn your lesson with that. That was my second gig. So it was like, okay, like coming down from a sold out debut to like an absolute wreck of a second gig, and I was like, okay, I think I've seen the two ends of what could be.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'd say like everything, my music taste is very broad, but there's also, I feel like there's always promoters out there for every band.
Yeah, for sure.
There's bands that make music that don't fit anyone's roster, and I really respect that. Yeah, there's bands that kind of go off the trails and
The boundary pushers.
I love that. I love a band that I listen to and I'm like, this might be the first time I've heard music like this.
Yeah, like this is not even a genre.
Yeah, like you've made up your own thing. Like that, I didn't know this was possible. I've heard a lot of music.
I suppose, you know, speaking of promoters conforming to one genre, I suppose there's a lot of venues out there that also do the same. You know, I think, again, not to name names or anything, but a lot of bands in the kind of alt rock space or punk and stuff like that are booked by a lot of grassroots venues because I think a lot of people view that as being easy money, profitable.
Like the grassroots bands.
Yeah, kind of the palatable
like
band.
textbook
right?
band.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think, you know, you said that you work very closely with folklore rooms and they kind of came straight through and booked more left field, you know, like singer-songwriters, folk, more kind of low-key.
But when you think about it, where else would you see a singer-songwriter?
Absolutely, yeah.
Is the point of that venue, I mean, and Jacko is himself a singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
The point of that venue was to have like an intimate venue that had good sound. I think it's one of the only venues that has like seated gigs as well, because it's like you're not going to want to see like a very slow acoustic. Like I've done door shifts there where someone was just playing the harp and singing.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're not going to be standing for that.
No mosh pits here, but that's fine.
Yeah. It's like, no, that makes no sense. And like the venue itself looks so dreamy and so
absolutely.
like cozy. And it has the same capacity as Rossi. But you would not switch the two around, I don't think.
Yeah, absolutely. It's low lit, candle lit.
Yeah.
Ambience to it. You know, I think we had a previous interview with Phoebe and we were talking about kind of her project, Songe. The soundscapes that she creates isn't something I feel could be received in a stand-up venue. You know, you need to be fully tuned in, you know.
Yeah, and like I've seen some of my favourite gigs. I've discovered some of my favourite artists working there and attending gigs there because you just sit down and you're concentrated.
Yeah.
You're not like, oh, this band, like, but also I'm trying to talk with someone like over the music, like, and trying to, like, if you imagine Rossi, trying to tell people to shut up at Rossi is near impossible. I have done it.
Yeah.
But this was like
feat.
during the Alt Escape, and this was people like two of the like lanyard people just
of course
talking extremely loudly, and I was like, hey guys, I actually do need to hear the music, cheers. Like,
yeah, please stop talking.
I was like, you can go to the bar. That gave me a massive power trip, I have to say.
I would have felt
Like
very smug with that.
everyone in the bands were like, oh my god, you got to tell them to shut up. It's still like one of the things that people are like, oh my god, she got the lanyard people to shut up. It's like,
the only person in Brighton to do it, I'm certain.
yeah, I'm like, oh, I used to teach rugby lads EDI. Yeah. Like, this is nothing.
Yeah,
like,
this is easy.
Do you think this is a threat? Like,
so, you know, we're 1 year in to SideQuest now, and obviously you have been very heavily involved in the music scene outside of SideQuest. But kind of a year on from now, where do you see yourself? What's the achievement that you're hoping to get to?
There's, I think with SideQuest is, the objective with SideQuest was never something business-like. It was more personal.
Yeah.
It was, I've worked for people all the time, and I wanted to work for myself. I wanted to do something fully for myself.
Yeah.
That I called all the shots, that I worked things how I wanted to work things, which has never really been a possibility working in corporate environments or anywhere else. to be like, I have full control of how this goes.
Yeah.
Even when you don't have control, it's still you calling the shots. So I think like that objective has been met, and it's always nice to keep coming back and being like, okay, this is what it looks like when I run something from tip to toe. But I don't have like any hard set schedules or like objectives for SideQuest. I think SideQuest is my baby, and I refer to it constantly like that. And now it's said in the last post, it's grown up to an hyperactive toddler. So who knows?
Yeah.
At this point, it's a bit wild. I think more collaborations with people, because I do love collabing with people.
Yeah.
I love the collaboration aspect of running a gig, of working with the musicians, with the promoters, with the venues. I'd say, like, I'd love to do like a sort of fusion event of like maybe doing like a crafters market at the same time as like a gig. One of my mates that helps me out with SideQuest sometimes, she does like she does like crochet kittens.
Nice.
And she gave me one that was like the SideQuest colours, so it was like orange and blue, and it's the most adorable thing in the world, and I have it like on my windowsill. With the first one she gave me, that was like a calico cat. I'm allergic to cats. I love a calico cat. But it's
like your mascot.
Yeah,
essentially.
It's like a little mascot. Or like she did for the first gig, she did like a stitch. On one of those like circle things. That was the lineup with like the ticket prices and like location and stuff. So it was like a mini poster, but it was stitched. And then we'd give that to the headliners. For the Halloween gig that we did, she did the stitch, and then she did like mini ghosts out of clay that were just holding like the band name as like a little banner, and I gave that to like each of the bands. And they were all like, oh my God, like this is so cute. And I'm like, that's the kind of thing that I'm like, you get a rogue gift. There you go.
You're making it an experience for the artists as well. You know, I think it's very much like a band and audience relationship, but looking at the kind of promoter and artist relationship, you're giving them something to take away with them, and you're making SideQuest more of like an experience for the band. Like,
that was the main point, because like my main ethos with everything is the best gigs I've attended is when the musicians are having fun.
Yeah, for sure.
When the band is having fun on stage, the people have fun.
Yeah.
So all I want to do with my gigs is to make sure that they have everything they need to be able to have fun on stage. And that's why I have a bunch of artists asking to play with me again, because they're like, we had such a good time.
Yeah.
And it spread out of word and mouth, because they were like, is there anything I can do to help out and stuff? And I was like, next time you're at a gig and someone asks you about like Brighton promoters, just say my name.
Yeah.
And that has landed me so many artists, so many people that are like, we want to work with you. And I'm like, okay. And it's like, it's really nice in that sense. It's like, because word of mouth works for the musicians. It definitely also works for promoters. Like we talk amongst each other a lot.
Yeah.
If you're trying to book a band that you've never booked before, you will chat to some other promoter that has booked them before to be like, are they all good? Like, you know, are they respectful? Do they bring their stuff? Like, because you'd be surprised. But
empty-handed musicians.
Oh gosh, yeah. But that's such a classic thing of like, are they late all the time? We love them to pieces, though.
Yeah.
Like, I love musicians to pieces, but there are patterns that they all follow.
This is the thing as well. It's like there's that kind of relationship building as well with promoters. So people like yourself, you know, a lot of artists can be quite skeptical, I think, of promoters and kind of their motives.
And it's very understandable, because promoters get a bad rep because there are bad people that are promoters. And that's perfectly legitimate.
Yeah,
like
sure.
There are people that, you know, don't pay. There are people that pay late or never send the payment when they said they would. There are people that like This is from stories I've heard from musicians, but people that will try to convince you that you've not sold a single ticket when you have.
Yeah, the guilt tripping.
Or even the fact that people ask, like, you need to bring like 30 people.
Yeah.
I'm like, that to me is bonkers.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you can't quantify how many friends do I have it. Like, when you work at a grassroots level,
yeah.
like, the people that come in are either fellow musicians or your mate.
Yeah.
Most time, both at once.
Yeah.
But it's like, you can't quantify, like, oh, can you bring 40 people to, like, this bar in the middle of absolutely nowhere with no working sound system?
Yeah. Or my favourite of, why haven't you sold many tickets? And I'm like, isn't that your job?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I come from working with students and I come from trade union backgrounds. So to me, everyone is paid at SideQuest gigs, but that's like just unthinkable of me to not do that. It might not be a lot because I work with very tight budgets because tickets are as cheap as they can get. It's more just so I don't lose money while everybody else is still being paid. Like everyone at SideQuest Fest was paid because that one was funded. Got a nice little grant for it. That was really nice.
Congrats.
Thank you. It was a long application.
I can imagine, actually.
Absolutely at the last minute. Very on brand with me.
Yeah. Got to leave it last minute. I think a really nice way to wrap up actually would be to get an understanding of, say, a brand new artist has just moved to town. We were just discussing how it's kind of Freshers Week. What's the best place to find you? Best place to contact you as an artist that is looking to get booked?
I'd say through email. Introducing yourself, sending demos, sending an EPK, just being nice. Like, you don't have to be incredibly formal. I feel like there's the two versions of people either send me an email like they've known me all my life and I don't know who they are, which is quite bizarre to read. Because when they're being so informal that you're like, this looks like it's a text that you would send your mate. Like,
it's the hey buddy.
Yeah, like, it's like, hey buddy, but it's also like super informal. You're like, okay, you can introduce yourself. Who are you first? Like, hi, nice to meet you. And then there's the like ones that write to you like you're the Queen of England. And I'm like, okay, we all need to collectively calm down. So there's a happy medium because it's an informal industry in the grand scheme. But I'd say, an email is more professional, firstly. Less easy to lose track of. Because a DM on Instagram, lost immediately.
For sure.
Like, the minute I open the app, it will stop notifying me of it. So, and it also goes to requests, which I barely check. And I know I'm not great at keeping up with emails, but I'm a lot better at doing emails than like doing DMs.
Helps to filter out the spam, I suppose, as well.
But there's the email address is on the bio.
We've 4K, we've got the lighting. Reese has got his
seamless.
He's got
who needs that camera?
Color grading as well and everything. But Instagram.
Email is hello@sidequestrecords.org.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that's that. There you go. Nice. It's the classic with these cameras. They tend to get so hot.
I saw the temperature warning when we
Oh,
were like
really?
20 minutes and I was like, it'll be fine.